Hello, our Lives channel. Today we will learn about the shocking developments that threaten to completely shatter Xander and Sarah's marriage, while explosive rumors swirl about potential romantic entanglements that could change everything in Salem. The latest Days of Our Lives weekly promotional preview has dropped an absolute bombshell that has fans reeling. The dramatic teaser opens with none other than Maggie Kyriakis confronting her daughter Sarah with information that will fundamentally alter the landscape of her relationship with Xander Kyriakis. Maggie reveals the devastating truth that has been lurking beneath the surface for months. Xander has been deliberately deceiving Sarah about what really happened with his half-brother Philip Kyriakis. When Sarah desperately pleads with her husband to deny the accusations and tell her that he didn't violently assault Philip, Xander finds himself cornered with nowhere to hide. The truth has finally caught up with him, and he cannot bring himself to lie anymore. The moment of reckoning has arrived, and Xander's inability to provide the reassurance Sarah desperately seeks confirms her worst fears. Her husband has been lying to her face for months, maintaining this deception even as they attempted to rebuild their fractured relationship. The confrontation between Sarah and Xander reaches its breaking point in what promises to be one of the most emotionally charged scenes of the season. Sarah's anger and heartbreak manifest in a symbolic gesture that speaks volumes about the state of their marriage. In a moment that will leave viewers stunned, Sarah removes her wedding ring and places it on the table between them, essentially ending their marriage right then and there. The woman who fought so hard to walk again, who believed in second chances, has reached her absolute limit with Xander's repeated betrayals. She orders him out of their home immediately, making it crystal clear that there is no path forward for them as long as trust remains shattered. This devastating revelation comes after Sarah had actually begun to forgive Xander for what she believed were her own mistaken assumptions about him attacking Philip. She had convinced herself that she was wrong to suspect him, taking full responsibility for damaging their relationship with her distrust. Sarah felt terrible for doubting Xander and was ready to move forward, especially after seeing what a devoted father he is to their daughter Victoria. But now the truth has emerged that Sarah's initial instincts were absolutely correct all along. Xander did attack Philip, and then he allowed Sarah to believe she was wrong to suspect him, letting her carry the guilt and shame of falsely accusing her husband. The betrayal cuts even deeper because of the timing and circumstances. Days of Our Lives fans are well aware that Xander and Sarah had been working on their relationship, with Xander even attending anger management counseling sessions with Marlena Evans to address his rage issues. Sarah took comfort in knowing that Xander was getting help and working on himself. There was even discussion of the couple potentially renewing their vows as a fresh start, symbolizing their commitment to moving past their troubles and building a stronger future together. Now all of those hopes and plans have been obliterated by the truth about Philip. According to explosive Days of Our Lives spoilers and insider information, the fallout from this marital implosion could lead to an unexpected and controversial romantic connection. Sources suggest that Sarah Horton Kyriakis may end up sleeping with Brady Black in the aftermath of discovering Xander's terrible lies. The theory makes sense on multiple levels. Sarah will undoubtedly need comfort and support as she processes this betrayal, and Brady has been increasingly present in her life lately. Brady Black and Sarah have always maintained a friendly relationship, but recent circumstances have drawn them closer together. Brady has been a steadfast supporter of Sarah throughout her divorce proceedings and custody battle, offering her encouragement and understanding during one of the most difficult periods of her life. Their connection has deepened significantly, with Brady using Sarah's growing professional relationship with his daughter Rachel as an opportunity to spend more time with the doctor. Rachel has been under Sarah's care at the hospital, dealing with stress-related issues stemming from the traumatic situation involving E.J. DiMera's shooting and the subsequent investigation. It has been quite some time since Brady has been romantically involved with anyone. His personal life has been on hold while he deals with the complex challenges of co-parenting two children with very different mothers and very different needs. Brady has been completely consumed with handling situations involving his son Tate Black and his daughter Rachel Black, leaving no time or energy for romance. Tate has been dealing with the enormous scandal involving Sophia Choi and the paternity questions surrounding her baby. Meanwhile, Rachel has been at the center of an even more disturbing situation involving E.J. DiMera's shooting. Day's spoilers indicate that Brady may soon be in desperate need of comfort himself as he faces Rachel's shocking downfall and the terrible truth about her role in E.J.'s shooting. The situation with Rachel is far more complex and disturbing than anyone initially realized. While many people suspected that Johnny DiMera was responsible for shooting his father E.J., the truth appears to be much more sinister. Evidence suggests that young Rachel Black may have been the one who actually pulled the trigger, either accidentally or as part of a calculated revenge plot against her uncle E.J. The circumstances surrounding the shooting are particularly troubling. Rachel apparently picked up a gun that Johnny had brought to the DiMera mansion during one of his confrontations with his father. Johnny had reached his breaking point with E.J.'s manipulations and cruelty, going to the mansion with murderous intent. However, Johnny ultimately couldn't go through with killing his father and dropped the gun before leaving. That's when Rachel entered the scene and picked up the weapon. What makes this situation even more disturbing is the question of whether Rachel's actions were truly accidental, or if she deliberately shot E.J. as revenge for sending her grandmother Rachel Blake away. E.J. had prevented Rachel's grandmother from testifying against him by essentially forcing her out of Salem, which devastated both Kristen DiMera and young Rachel. Some days of our lives, insiders believe that Rachel may have been playing an elaborate long game, pretending to be traumatized while actually manipulating everyone around her. The possibility that this child could be operating as an evil genius, carefully orchestrating events to frame Johnny while covering her own tracks, has both horrified and fascinated fans. Rachel's behavior since the shooting has raised numerous red flags. She has been experiencing what appear to be anxiety attacks and showing signs of psychological distress, leading to her treatment by Sarah at the hospital. However, there are theories that Rachel may be faking these symptoms to deflect suspicion and maintain her cover story. If Rachel is indeed responsible for shooting E.J., her mother Kristen DiMera may end up taking the fall to protect her daughter from facing consequences for this violent act. When Brady discovers the full truth about what happened that night at the DiMera mansion and realizes that his young daughter was involved in shooting someone, he will be absolutely shattered. This revelation will force him to confront some extremely difficult questions about Rachel's psychological state, the influence of her mother Kristen's criminal behavior, and his own role as a father. Brady will desperately need someone to lean on as he processes this nightmare, and Sarah may be the person who provides that support. The potential for Sarah and Brady to surrender to their mutual need for comfort and end up sleeping together creates a fascinating dynamic. Both of them would be in extremely vulnerable emotional states, dealing with shocking revelations that have upended their understanding of their lives. Sarah would be reeling from Xander's betrayal and the collapse of her marriage, while Brady would be devastated by the truth about Rachel's actions. In that moment of shared pain and vulnerability, they might seek solace in each other's arms, crossing the line from friendship into something more intimate. This development would undoubtedly provoke an explosive reaction from Xander Kyriakis. Day's spoilers suggest that if Sarah were to sleep with Brady, it could serve as the ultimate test to see if Xander is truly capable of change and personal growth. Throughout his time on Days of Our Lives, Xander has struggled with jealousy, possessiveness, and violent impulses when it comes to the women he loves. His rage issues have been a constant source of problems, leading to destructive behavior that has cost him relationships and opportunities. If Xander learns that Sarah slept with Brady while they are separated, will he respond with his typical violent fury, or will he be able to control his emotions and accept that his own actions drove Sarah away? This situation could become the defining moment that determines whether Xander has genuinely evolved as a person or if he will always default to his worst instincts when faced with emotional pain. The answer to that question will have profound implications for Xander's future and any possibility of eventually reconciling with Sarah. The current conflict between Sarah and Xander represents the culmination of months of lies, secrets, and betrayals on both sides. Sarah had kept the truth about Philip's forged letter from Xander for an extended period, protecting Philip even though it meant deceiving her husband about a matter that directly affected his inheritance and his family legacy. When Xander eventually discovered Sarah's deception, he was understandably furious. From Xander's perspective, Sarah had chosen to protect Philip over being honest with her own husband, which felt like a devastating betrayal of their marriage vows. However, Xander's choice to attack Philip and then lie about it represents an even more serious breach of trust. Physical violence crosses a line that cannot be easily uncrossed, especially when it involves family members. The fact that Xander allowed Sarah to believe she was wrong to suspect him, letting her apologize and take responsibility for doubting him when he was actually guilty all along, adds another layer of manipulation to his deception. This wasn't just a lie of omission. It was an active, ongoing campaign of deception that exploited Sarah's love and trust. Days of Our Lives spoilers confirm that there is significant conflict ahead for Sarah and Xander as they navigate this crisis in their relationship. The question now becomes whether their marriage can survive this latest betrayal, or if this is truly the end for the couple once known as Zara to devoted fans. Sarah will almost certainly pursue full custody of their daughter Victoria, and given Xander's history of violence and deception, she would have a strong case in family court. The custody battle could become extremely ugly, with Philip potentially playing a wild card role depending on whether he chooses to defend his brother or testify against him. The romantic speculation about Sarah and Brady is further fueled by insider leaks that have proven remarkably accurate in predicting other days' storylines. Sources with connections to the production have revealed that the show is planning several major couple shuffles involving Brady, Sarah, Xander, and other Salem residents. These relationship shakeups are designed to create fresh romantic combinations and generate new dramatic conflict for the long-running soap opera. If these insider reports are accurate, viewers can expect to see Sarah and Brady's friendship evolve into something more complicated and potentially romantic in the coming weeks and months. The timing of these developments is particularly interesting given the broader context of what's happening in Salem. Multiple storylines are converging in ways that will force characters to make difficult choices and face uncomfortable truths. Sophia Choi's lies about Tate being her baby's father are being exposed, forcing her to confront the consequences of her deception and manipulation. Johnny DiMera is facing potential prosecution for a shooting he didn't actually commit, while the real shooter may be a disturbed child who is either deeply traumatized or cunningly manipulative. E.J. DiMera must decide whether to protect Rachel at the expense of his own son Johnny, creating an impossible moral dilemma. In the midst of all this chaos and drama, Sarah and Brady's potential romantic connection represents something both hopeful and troubling. On one hand, they are two good people who have been hurt by circumstances beyond their control, seeking comfort and understanding from someone who truly sees them. On the other hand, a relationship born from crisis and emotional vulnerability may not have the foundation needed for long-term success. There's also the very real possibility that Sarah might be seeking revenge against Xander by sleeping with Brady, using the encounter as a way to hurt her husband as much as he has hurt her. The potential for Sarah to discover she is pregnant adds another layer of complexity to this already tangled situation. Days spoilers have hinted that Sarah might find herself expecting a baby, which would raise immediate questions about paternity given the timeline of her separation from Xander. If Sarah and Xander were trying for a second child before their marriage collapsed, and then Sarah sleeps with Brady shortly after kicking Xander out, determining the father of any resulting pregnancy could become a major storyline. Would Sarah tell the truth about the possibility that Brady could be the father, or would she allow everyone to assume the baby is Xander's? These complications are exactly the type of dramatic scenarios that Days of Our Lives excels at exploring. The show has built its reputation over nearly 6 decades by examining the messy, complicated nature of human relationships and the consequences of choices made in moments of passion, anger, or desperation. Sarah's journey from being a woman who was trying to forgive her husband and rebuild her marriage to someone who might seek comfort in another man's arms reflects the complexity of real human emotion and behavior. As this storyline unfolds in the coming weeks, viewers will be watching closely to see how each character responds to these challenges. Will Sarah actually cross that line with Brady, or will she pull back before things go too far? If they do sleep together, will it remain a one-time mistake born of mutual pain, or will it develop into something more substantial? How will Xander react when he inevitably learns the truth about Sarah and Brady? Can Xander demonstrate genuine growth and maturity, or will he explode in characteristic violent rage? These questions will keep Days of Our Lives fans engaged and invested in the ongoing saga of these beloved characters. The stakes have never been higher for Sarah, Xander, Brady, and everyone connected to their intertwined lives. Marriages are ending, secrets are being exposed, and the fragile bonds that hold families and relationships together are being tested to their breaking point. Days of Our Lives continues to deliver the compelling, emotionally charged drama that has made it a daytime television institution, proving that even after all these years, Salem still has plenty of surprises in store for its residents and the devoted fans who follow their stories.